Welcome to the Sportsman's Voice Roundup, your weekly look at conservation and sporting community news happening across the nation and on the Hill. Thanks for tuning in. This is the TSV Roundup. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Sportsman's Voice Roundup, your weekly look at conservation news from across the nation for the week of August 24th, 2026. Our lead story this week, a landmark ruling reached in North Carolina coastal fisheries lawsuit. Connor Barker will join me on this this really big story here. Hit the rest of the headlines here at the federal level. The president on August 10th, Donald Trump issued a presidential message recognizing National Shooting Sports Month and America's traditions of recreational shooting and hunting. The president's message emphasized firearm safety, personal responsibility, conservation, and efforts to expand recreational shooting opportunities on federal lands. So that's pretty cool to have the president recognize that. Here in the Northeast, a quick fun article letting folks know around here and kind of spur your curiosity if you've not checked in on your seasons. Small game season kicks off here, namely squirrel season on September 1st. Also, just as an aside, our black bear season kicks off on September 1st as well, and resident goose season. So good times to be had. But the whole point of the article here in the Northeast is, we talk about R3, retention, recruitment, reactivation, all that. Squirrel season, small game season is a great way to get people involved. Low energy, low cost, low effort. Just kind of go for a walk in the woods. The equipment's pretty light. And that's the whole point. Keep it fun, keep it light, keep it easy, create memories, create a good positive environment with good feedback. Squirrels are fun. Even, all the small game is fun. Not a lot of scent and being quiet, especially if you're working with dogs, it's even better. So you can read up on that, check out what we got going on here in New Hampshire, but it's a great time to start getting in the woods and getting young people or even that emergent adult hunter in the woods and just taking advantage of some really great opportunities. Over to the Midwest, Jake Gould is telling us to prepare for deer season by knowing your state's CWD resources. Again, if you've got these issues in your state, it's always a good time, just like with your annual laws or any annual rule changes. If you're a CWD state, if you're a CWD area, you gotta, even, whatever way you feel about it, check your area that you're hunting, know what you have to do. You have to, submit those samples or not. And, as far as what you do with it after that, I guess that's between you and God and the deer, but be in compliance. Don't put yourself in a jam. Check out Jake's article on that. And again, being brushed up on all the latest and greatest in your state and area is important. Finally, Maureen Newmiller brings us an article about public input being sought on Washington's 2027 through 2029 3-year season proposals. Quick thing here. Key proposals under consideration include species-specific deer licenses to address perceived crowding, new moose permits in the Okanogan and Chelan areas. Sorry if I messed that up. Reduced forest grouse daily limits, restrictions on trail cameras on public lands during fall seasons, and consistent season start dates. Another good one, and more interesting stuff coming out of Washington. So get involved. That's the headlines for this week. Again, always go to congressionalsportsman.org, congressionalsportsman.org. Get caught up on the latest and greatest. All the article links are there. Go to this week's news or any of the articles, as a matter of fact, and go in the past. Deep dive, do your own homework, share those links out, share the testimony links out so people can see, what's being said. It's a great resource. It's free to you. Put an email in, subscribe, get it in your inbox every Monday or Tuesday, depending on a holiday. Also, don't forget about the Pop for Conservation raffle ongoing now. Your support, your participation directly supports our mission here at CSF. It's pop, the number 4 conservation.com, pop, P-O-P, the number 4 conservation.com. Go there now, get involved, get your tickets, whole bunch of cool prizes. Hornady, Rogers. There's some vehicles in there. Like, go check it out. It's worth your time getting involved. popforconservation.com. P-O-P, the number 4 conservation.com. All right, that's it for housekeeping now. Landmark ruling reached in North Carolina. Connor Barker is joining us now. Connor, give us the good news. Why is this so monumental? What's going on in North Carolina?
Yeah, man. Thanks, Fred. Yeah, this is, as the title suggests, this is a massive, massive win in North Carolina. It's big for a couple reasons, and more on the national implications first on why this is big and why this matters to folks that aren't in North Carolina. This is one of the strongest examples of the constitutional right to hunt and fish being tested and referenced in a favorable court ruling to support, that state's sportsmen and women. And in this case, the it's a little bit of background here. You can read this in the article, but it's been a 6-year-long lawsuit that was brought on by the North Carolina Coastal Conservation Association, or CCA North Carolina. They did that alongside 86 citizen plaintiffs, and really the gist of it is they sued the state of North Carolina for failing to manage the state's fish stocks and coastal fisheries. And of course, just like any of our other wildlife resources we have in general, those would be managed in the public trust. No different for a coastal fish stocks here in North Carolina. If you're familiar with the background, it's been a long ongoing issue in the state, collapsing fish stocks, and CCA, it kind of came to the point where CCA didn't have another option. They took it to court. They got a big win a couple years ago in a lower court, and the Superior Court just upheld that. And in that ruling, the Superior Court cited that the state did breach its obligations under the public trust doctrine, Article 1, Section 38 of the North Carolina Constitution. And if you scroll down towards the bottom of that, or the North Carolina Constitution to that article, that is the constitutional right to hunt and fish. That is the language that CSF worked on a ton in 2018 and got that measure passed on the ballot. And it held its test, and it showed its true colors in court. And now North Carolina's fisheries that have been in kind of dire straits for decades now, there's going to be something that's going to have to be done about it. And that's kind of where we are now. So national implications, the constitutional right to hunt and fish has held its muster here in North Carolina, which is outstanding. I know, Fred, you said there's a few more examples across the country of that being tested. And this is one of the strongest ones that we have so far. So I guess nationally, there's your implications for that. And then locally here in North Carolina, this is hopefully something that'll finally move the needle on collapsing fish stocks. If you go through and read the 190-page court order, it's unbelievable the amount of evidence in there that the judge in that order cites. And again, hats off to CCA North Carolina and their expert witnesses that they put together in the case that they built. It was phenomenal. It was bulletproof. The amount of, and honestly, the evidence was on their side to begin with. They just did an excellent job of portraying that and putting that in front of the judge. Some of the strongest evidence that was referenced in that, if you go towards the bottom of that document, the last 40 or 50 pages or so, is the actual order itself and kind of what that judge ruled and why. And the biggest piece of evidence, in my opinion, was that not a single species managed by the state exhibited long-term viability. A single fish stock, and that in North Carolina, that's 13 state-managed fish stocks, did not see long-term viability. So something has to be done. On another note, they also referenced some very outdated commercial fishing practices. One of those that we've talked about on this podcast before, and you've seen in TSV, is industrial shrimp trawling in sounds and estuaries. North Carolina's among the only states that allows that outdated practice. And as you guys have read before, it is very hard on fisheries, nurseries, and everything that all the important things that those do for young fish populations, and just the bycatch and everything like that is just, it's been shown that is destructive, and it's nice to see that recognized in the ruling. So on the North Carolina side, on the local stuff, that they really hit it all on the head. And speaking with some folks from CCA North Carolina, again, their case was bulletproof and throughout this whole thing, and very well done. I don't think they could have written this order better themselves, this 190-page order. So massive win there for sure, Fred.
Yeah, and you referenced examples of this across the country, and the one that immediately comes to mind is a case in Nebraska some years back with the governor. There was a petition to remove mountain lion hunting. This is post their right to hunt and fish constitutional amendment. And the governor cited that amendment as to why they could not get rid of it and why he wouldn't engage. It's in particular to the language that CSF has crafted over the years that's very scrutinized legalese. And the reason when we work with our partners and work within the state legislative sportsmen's caucuses and we get a sponsor and, we say, this is a suggested language. This is what has worked over the years. And here's the why and why, most recently in Florida and quite frankly, we're knocking at the door in Colorado, which shares this language, and other states where we've run this. Delaware is somewhere in the mix on this as well. So the use of this language is incredibly important. What is legal at the time of that passage, deferring to the state agency to manage wildlife and regulate. So in that case, in Nebraska, that was the standard. Now, another reason for these constitutional amendments coming into play, being cited. So it's not just one of these cases of, the hunters just want their say and they just want it to be protected. And what's the point of this? This is the point. These cases, and again, like when we bring these ideas forward, like is your state a good candidate to run these constitutional amendments? Are you one of the 26, hopefully after November 25 with Colorado, that could strengthen your sporting community conservation funding at all? And here's the reasons. Here's why this stuff needs to be protected, why the language is right. So it's great to see. It's good to have these cases out there that we can cite and bring as examples forward. And, it's always kind of a weird thing. Like, well, a lot of people haven't challenged it just based on these constitutional amendments exist. In the couple instances where they have been challenged, or in this case has been cited as two wider rulings out there, that's really strong. And that bodes well for our community, the 24 states that have them. And again, hopefully 25 in Colorado after November. And then we keep moving forward. So a great report, excellent article. And again, Connor referenced the 190-page court order. You can click through to that and enjoy some light reading wherever you're at. But Connor, great stuff here. And thank you so much for your reporting on this.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Fred. I appreciate it. And again, I pulled out in the article, there's some sections in there, some exact text that I pulled out from that ruling that stood out to me as some of the strongest language. And that's just scratching the surface on what this court order said. And again, it is a home run for local fisheries managers and state fisheries management here in North Carolina. And just, I'm a coastal, I live on the coast here in North Carolina. So it's important to me personally. And again, on the national perspective, a bulletproof example of the constitutional right to hunt and fish, one that did use that preferred language from CSF, holding its muster here in court. And obviously, as we get into session next year in North Carolina, this is to the point now where the case goes to remediation, and all the interested parties will come to the table and figure out what are we going to do about this? Clearly there's been an issue identified, and let's put our heads together. And rather than be on the other side of things, it's all come to the table. So we'll see what comes of that. And I'm sure during the legislative session next year, we'll be seeing some legislative attempts to change things, hopefully in the right direction. But we'll see. So yeah, thanks, Fred. Appreciate you having me, and yeah, important stuff.
No doubt. Connor, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it. We look forward to the follow-up on it. And yeah, congrats again.
Yeah, thanks, Fred.
Thanks for joining us on this edition of the Sportsman's Voice podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, your support is crucial, and you can help us out right now by leaving a review, filling in those 5 stars where available, sharing this episode with friends and family, and engaging with us socially. CSF can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Together, we can protect the outdoor sports we love and continue to keep you informed wherever you are. That's it for this week. Until next time, we'll see you later.